Good morning, everybody. Continuing our thoughts on the priestly blessing from number 6. Let me read it to you again. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace." I want to pick up on things that Steve said last Thursday, that's last Thursday week, but I want to begin with some of what Jane shared with us on Wednesday, and that is the truth that God's face is always turned towards us. Steve actually quoted a verse, 2 Corinthians 4:6, for God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of God's glory displayed in the face of Christ. And the question I want to think about today is, do we see his face? Are we aware of that truth? Some of the characters of the Old Testament thought it was very bad news indeed if they were to ever see God's face. I don't know whether you remember Jacob, after he'd wrestled with the angel. He said, "I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." Or Gideon, "Alas, sovereign Lord, I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face." Or Samson's parents, "We are doomed to die. We have seen God." And what about Peter? He saw the face of Jesus when he denied him. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter, and he went outside and wept bitterly. I wonder what kind of a look that was. Was it a look of condemnation? I told you so kind of thing. Was it a look of pity? Was it a look full of love for his trusted disciple who he knew was fallible? I think it maybe was, but we can't really know. Perhaps just as well. I guess the kind of look we perceive depends what's in our hearts, really. If we're burdened with guilt, for example, won't the face of God hold displeasure, or we will perceive it to be anyway, and the promise of judgment to make us fearful? But what about those who earnestly seek God and want to know him better? Like us, perhaps, hopefully. We were reflecting on Wednesday that God always turns his face towards his children, but several of the Psalms speak of God of wanting to see God face to face. Psalm 27:8, "My heart says of you, seek his face, your face, Lord, I will seek," for example. Or Psalm 119 verse 58, "I have sought your face with all my heart, be gracious to me according to your promise." Why pray like that? Was God's face hidden from them, or was it just that they couldn't see him? Jesus isn't among us in physical form, as he was in the time of the Gospels, but the blessings we will enter into when we do finally see him face to face give us hope and strength for today. Peter in 1 Peter chapter 1, 8 and 9 says, "Though you have not seen him, you love him, and even though you do not see him now, you believe in him and are filled with an inexpressible and glorious joy, for you are receiving the end result of your faith, the salvation of your souls." And what will it be like when we do see him face to face, for real, in all his beauty and loveliness, with no sin or guilt on our part getting in the way? John has a go at describing what heaven will be like in Revelation 22:3. "No longer will there be any curse. The throne of God and of the Lamb will be in the city, and his servants will serve him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads. There will be no more night. They will not need the light of a lamp or the light of the sun, for the Lord God will give them light, and they will reign forever and ever." Doesn't that give us a deep sense of peace and real hope? Isn't that what we want for others, as well as for each other, I should say, as well as for those we reach out to? Our family members, our friends, our work colleagues, our neighbours. God grant us peace as we enter more fully into what it is to have his face shine on us today. And as we see his face, albeit briefly and fleetingly for now, through a glass darkly, for now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face, says Paul in 1 Corinthians 13:12. Let's pray.